The one thing that we don't want to happen is for me to have to sue each and every single one of you, which I will do. You can all individually be sued with no protection.
Did you seek indemnification?
No.
Our budget authorized you to spend money on legal.
No.
We did that without authorization.
Yeah. If you want to open up that can of worms, it's going to be a big mess for all of us.
My name is Clint.griess. I'm a proud San Francisco Republican and the former secretary and executive director of our county committee. When I heard our chairman, John Dennis, was running for the office of chair of chairs, I knew I had to find a way to communicate with you, to warn you. You have to know about the state of our committee under his chairmanship. You need to know about the constant divisiveness and the corruption that his leadership has brought to our party. Please keep watching. The following clips from our October 2022 monthly meeting will give you a sense of what you can expect if John Dennis ends up leading your association. A little background. During last year's election cycle, John Dennis's Republican opponent for Congress, Eve Del Costello, sued him for breaking California election code. Her basic tort lawsuit alleged John made false claims in his campaign materials. John has admitted he took $2,500 from our treasury to pay a retainer to a law firm to represent him in this case. This was done without a vote from the committee and without an approved budget item. Multiple times, he refused to properly seek indemnification. When questioned about this unauthorized expenditure, John's behavior was shocking. People experienced threats, confusion, and intimidation. As you will see, he tried to cover his tracks and stick the committee with $10,000 in legal fees. Thankfully, he was not successful.
Moving on to the Del Costello lawsuit, there was a question about it. The lawsuit was tossed, but it came with a legal bill. So we actually have a decision to make. Right now, the bill stands with the law firm at about $8,300.
Your name?
Yeah.
But no one else is paying?
No.
So under the California Code of Civil Procedure, if you sue an officer of the association, the lawsuit is specifically against an officer. Now, we do have a provision for indemnification. There is no excuse for why you have not approached the committee to seek indemnification.
The one thing that we don't want to happen is for me to have to sue each and every single one of you, which I will do. First of all, I'll advise every single person on this committee to resign his or her position, because that means that you can all individually be sued with no protection. If you want to open up that can of worms, it's going to be a big mess for all of us. It is an unpleasant thing. It is detrimental to the committee.
I don't think it's pushing back. Right now, I'm kind of feeling threatened.
We're all threatened.
I'm not finished. This has sort of just kind of been pushed. None of us have really been made aware of much.
I'm liable either way.
I'll tell you right now, I'm not staying on this committee under these circumstances. Did you seek indemnification?
No.
This is very alarming to me.
In our budget bill earlier this year that authorized you to spend money on legal,
No.
we did that without authorization.
Yeah.
Did anyone say we're voting yes or no for the 2,500?
No.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the case is about.
Yeah.
You said you don't know what the case is about.
No, I'm just,
I just wonder how many people knew who the law firm was hired for and what it was hired for and on what grounds.
And who was going to pay? And where was it going to come from? Where was the money going to come from? Which fund?
We have the requirement as a committee, the question of whether John Dennis was grossly negligent.
so I feel like things are being forced upon us sometimes, and we're kind of being strong-armed into certain votes.
Okay. We'll let the judge decide that.
I thought we had to do it.
The question has been called.
For you or for all of us?
The question was called. Motion on the table. All in favor of.
I don't understand the motion.
I don't either.
I don't either.
I feel like-
Whatever we do, I
It's
don't know what the vote is for. Yeah, exactly. We can't
That's
even. pay for
In
ourselves.
lieu of the prospect of me having to pursue lawsuits against each of you for not indemnifying.
Okay, then what does that mean,
Well,
Joe?
you know what?
What that means is, I have no choice but to come back to the committee.
And how much
Who
money are we
passed
talking
$10,000 more or less.
about? And you want us to share that?
All in favor of indemnification, say aye.
No.
Opposed.
Secret ballot. We don't-
The motion passes. We have now indemnified us in the lawsuit.
Any of us can call for a roll call, John, that's not your decision.
Yeah, roll call.
And
the
there should
gap-
be a secret ballot.
The chairman has made the decision on that.
Chair doesn't decide.
Okay, well, then do something. Nope,
Aren't you glad that?
And they're
no,
not
it did pass.
Nobody even voted.
Roll call or secret ballot, that's not the chair's decision.
You-
Not
The,
the chair's decision.
the chair, how do you want to call for the secret ballot? Let's do it now.
Explain it. Could you explain it again, what we're voting on?
Jesus
John,
Yeah.
is it fair to refer to it as retroactive indemnification? Is that a thing?
Identify who?
John. Just John?
Just John.
Behave yourselves on the, okay, please. Rudy, Rudy,
Yes, go back to Democratic Party. I thought the motion was to indemnify the committee.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes, what I thought.
No, that's not the
Yes.
motion.
That's what
I
his
seconded.
motion was.
someone said, oh, I'm threatening you. You would leave me no recourse. It would be suicide to force me to sue everybody on this committee. Why would the committee not indemnify you? I should be the one walking off the stage.
The bylaws, it says right here, on written request to the secretary by any person seeking indemnification under this article, SFGOP shall promptly determine whether the person seeking indemnification meets the criteria. We have all this confusion.
Okay,
And people are reacting emotionally.
no, because
Be here in this moment if we hadn't done the proper thing originally.
it's a fair thing to ask. John, we should probably go through the process of indemnification to do this right. The fact that no one did, it's the committee's obligation. Okay, just so you know, if I am not indemnified, I am going to have to file all these different lawsuits against the committee.
It just sounds to me like there's a lot of confusion around the procedures that were followed or that were not followed. And it sounds like if we're voting on something now, we're not doing our homework to figure out exactly what happened. And I'm not comfortable voting on something, putting myself in a position of liability when I don't have enough information.
Let me just say this. Let me just be clear about this.
Yeah.
You will be in a position of liability if we don't indemnify now. I'm going to seek recourse against every person on this committee for not indemnifying me. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I think everybody's still struggling with how this payment was made to the attorney. So can we go back and find the evidence that this committee agreed to that payment?
Was there a contract signed? How much was obligated?
Oh, like,
We have, okay,
election.
okay, we have a vote that, do we have ballots? We have ballots?
Bylaws don't allow us to vote. I'm sorry. It's not, I didn't write the bylaws. I don't want to be the stickler here, but it says that the person seeking indemnification must write a letter to the secretary. And in doing so, we give you the opportunity to spell out exactly what you're asking in terms of indemnity. What is the total bill going to be?
The procedure that needs to be followed. Can we table this till next month?
This saga continued at our November meeting when we stopped John Dennis's looting of our treasury by voting to freeze any funds for the Ave del Castello versus John Dennis lawsuit. When we reconvened in January, after a month's break, John invented a pretext to remove from the committee 3 delegates who were involved in his misappropriation of funds. The issue has drawn a lot of unflattering public attention to our meetings. Republicans are angry and upset at John's outlandish maneuvers.
If they won't leave the stage, then we're going to call the security down to remove them.
We should remove you. Let's remove you. The chair needs to be removed.
74-11.
Let's hear what they have to say. Let him speak.
The hallmark of John's leadership has been divisiveness and interpersonal conflict. We've lost 2/3 of our committee in under 3 years, mostly due to an intolerable working environment. Save yourself from a big headache and save yourself from getting in trouble. Vote for anyone other than John Dennis for chair of chairs. You can contact me for more information at clint.griess.sfgop@gmail.com.